FutureDad 7, Superpowers Part 1, Minimalism. Quote, "If one's life is simple, contentment has to come," end quote. Dalai Lama. Minimalism is both misunderstood and underappreciated. Your level of personal consumption is crucial to your quality of life, yet in public debate and daily conversation, minimalism is barely given more than a few seconds thought. One reason for this is that people don't know how to slow down and focus. See FutureDad 24, you are paid for your focus. So they create verbal shorthands to use as easy talking points. Hence, minimalism is hand-wavingly described as having less stuff. Even worse, it is dismissed as an interior design fad. Ironically, this is a rare example of when less is in fact not more. Indeed, there are few people who do the topic of minimalism justice. The only exceptions I have found are the YouTubers Joshua Becker and Aaron Clary. So before we set the record straight, let's first recognize an uncomfortable truth. Buying stuff is fun. When you get a pay rise or a bonus at work, one of the first things that comes to mind is, what can I buy with this new money? Hence, in our modern society, especially in the West but increasingly in the East, our existence boils down to a series of acquisitions in a lifelong commercial project. You are convinced to believe that you will only be happy once you buy the next thing. It can reasonably be argued that this consumerism, not money, is the root of all evil, or at the very least, unhappiness. So I'll start right there with a simple declaration. This fast consumerist line of thinking is evidently inferior to a slower consequentialist philosophy, that philosophy expressed in everyday life as minimalism. Minimalism puts a question mark on everything about your next purchase. It is important to declare that first because quasi-minimalists will frame minimalism only in terms of reduced spending. Anyone who adopts simply that and looks no deeper will eventually get bored of minimalism and revert to their old spending habits. A new fashion season will come. The next big fad will appear. A new set of keys will jangle just out of reach. However, minimalism goes far beyond just buying less stuff. In fact, minimalism is not about money, it's about time. If you're bitten by a snake in the wilderness and the poison courses through your veins, you don't have a poison problem, you have a time problem. How much time do you have to get to the anti-venom? Which route offers you the highest likelihood to traverse it in that time? If someone is coming to you, can you explain the detailed direction in the time you have left? Repositioning it that way directs the effort in the dimension it is needed. Every purchase takes time. Time to find, time to compare, time to choose, time to transact, time to maintain, time to earn to pay the transaction price, time to earn to pay the interest, time to fix, and time to replace. Minimalism, then, is a philosophy of expressing consumption in terms of time. Less things means you don't have to work as long or as hard. You don't have to perform as many tasks to update and maintain your possessions. All this frees up time and energy. If you don't grasp it in the dimension of time, you'll eventually go back to making the same unnecessary purchases. You will eventually stop seeing the point. Time is timeless, in a manner of speaking. To be minimalist is to look beyond the veil and see commercialism and consumption for what it is, an attempt to fill your lifespan with unnecessary, unmemorable, time-sapping, time-stealing activities. It isn't overstating it to say that becoming minimalist is to confront life's meaning, or lack thereof. When you strip back all the maintenance of a busy, complicated life, the effect on one's freedom is like a mini retirement. And similar to a regular retirement, there is suddenly a lot more free time. So it is wise to think about what to do with that time. Whatever fulfills you could be learning French, taking up badminton, or rediscovering your love of photography. Or if you are content with solitude, you can spend that extra free time on yourself, thinking, exercising, reading, playing music, the kind of things you longed for when life was busy with purchases and it felt like you had no time for yourself. So the message is simple. Stop buying stuff you don't need. You are deliberately shortening your life by doing so. Imagine if an ornament or a jumper or a new pair of shoes had time on the price tag. Not pounds, pence, dollars or cents, just days, hours and minutes with a minus sign in front of it. Would you buy it then? So how to adopt minimalism like you mean it? First, consider your motive, your specific desired outcome and your values. Motive. What is your reason to become minimalist? Make sure you have one. It is a permanent change of behavior, so you should be certain of your reason why. Usually people change their behavior when the pain of not changing is significantly more than the pain of changing. Significantly more because the inertia of not changing is very real and may seem insurmountable. If it were otherwise, then we'd all be running around in our perfect bodies in our perfect homes. Specificity. Winning back your freedom is a very powerful purpose to give yourself. If having a tidy apartment and a simple, streamlined life will give back an amount of energy, then you need to know what that is. What is the number of hours per week that you expect to gain? What is the expenditure you expect to save with a full commitment to becoming minimalist? Write it down. Perhaps it's 3 hours per week on shopping or $100 a month on trips to Starbucks saved. If you can't write it down, how can you say you mean it? Value alignment. Determine if it aligns with your values. People have 3 kinds of values: freedom, stability, and equality, with the associated characteristic of being independent, being consistent, and being empathetic. No one is 100% in one camp, but most are usually dominant in one. It is likely if you do belong in these last 2 groups, with core values of stability and equality, that you may not yearn for the freedom quite so much, although everyone claims to want more time, more money, and more energy in their life. So then, once minimalism is adopted, here are the actual things which may change. Less shopping and fewer shopping trips. See FutureDad 23 Habits Part 2, How to Create Good Habits, to help you build new spending habits. When you do shop, it is for necessities. But not necessities in the way people normally like to think of. Wear a different outfit every month, an annual phone upgrade, or eating out 3 times a week are necessities. These activities will decrease or end altogether. Simply put, if it's not a clear yes, then it's a no. More space. Less conversation about stuff that doesn't really matter. Less stress about paying bills. Increased ability to invest your money. See FutureDad 28, How to Become Financially Free Part 1. Better quality friendships. So let's start correcting the record. Minimalism needs more stalwart defenders. If someone in your social group does describe it as buying less stuff, don't just leave it there to avoid conflict. Reject these casual surface level descriptions. Explore what it actually means and what it actually does. I intended to make this essay an antidote to second-hand thinking. The end game of minimalism is the realization that what you have already is enough. You used to have fewer clothes than you do now, and you survived and you were happy. You used to have a less advanced mobile phone and you survived and you were happy. You used to eat out less and you survived and yes, you were happy. If physical fitness is the greatest gift to your future health, then minimalism is the greatest gift to your future self. Future Dad.